That's what I thought. Just wanted to be sure. Okay, let's get started. It's a little after 5:30. And excuse me, again, I am Susan Stephen, the president of Loveland Artist Guild. And this is our last meeting for our fiscal year. We go from September to May and take a summer break. So I have one person in the waiting room, but anyway. So let's start with a few announcements, and then we're going to have Rick Dallago. How do you say your last name, Rick?
That was perfect. Dallago.
Dallago. Okay, good. And Rick's going to start a critique, which we're all excited about. So to share this, let's see. All right. So this is a nice welcome. I hope we have some new people coming in. And like I said, it's our last meeting for this fiscal year. Where is our, oh, we're on the slideshow. Gotcha. And I just wanted to mention some things coming up. These are some through the summer, some will be starting when we get back in September. So June 9th through the 13th is our big art show in at the Boulder County Fairgrounds. I'll talk about that in a minute. Then Longmont Artist Guild is in charge of the fair, the art at the fair, which is always the end of July into August. September is when we come back with our meetings, hopefully in person. September 11th is the Longmont Art Walk, which this year is going to be a big one with the 150-year birthday of the city of Longmont. September also, that's going to be a big month, it looks like. We're starting our TV program, and Christina will be telling you about that in a couple minutes. October is our pumpkin pie days that we join up with them at the fairgrounds and display our artwork there. And October, again, it's another art show at the Great Frame Up. Here's some board changes we've had recently. Karen is leaving us. Poor Karen, she's moving to Texas. She's been with us for quite a while, and her and her family are moving away. Deborah Coley is our new board secretary at this point. Elise Thomas will take over the newsletter so that Christina can focus more on our TV show. And Vinalda will possibly be our PR director. We still need hospitality director. If anybody is interested, please let us know. We just judged the St. Vrain School District artwork. The students had over 1,500 pieces. It was a virtual show. And every year, Longmont Artists Guild gives awards to some of the students. This year we did it virtually, had 25 elementary, 10 middle school, 15 high schools. And they each got a certificate, and the upper grades got a Michael's gift card. The June show, like I mentioned, is coming up real soon. You have until May 22nd to get into the show. It's online on our website, and just fill out the form online, or if you want, you can download the application and send that in. So this is our big show, everybody, so make sure you get into that one. To be in this show, like most art clubs, you have to volunteer a few of your hours to help us out. And it's a first come, first serve sign up. So do it soon so you get the spot you want. There's our art walk I was mentioning, 150th birthday. And that's September 11th from 4 to 8 p.m. We're going to have 4 artists for the first half of that time period, and then 4 other artists at the end of that time. So if you're interested in being in the art walk, please just email us. You have to be a member of LHG, and it's no cost to you. And we always sell our artwork there too. No commission. And we'll be working with the public on some art projects. And then Christina will tell you a little more about this.
All right, why don't you mute your mic and unmute your computer speaker.
Okay. Mute. Did we take it off? There it is. Okay. Hold on. And
I'm gonna turn this on. I'm turning this on. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. We're in the same room, so we have to change mics and speakers so we don't echo you guys into oblivion. So what Susan flashed up there on the screen was a screenshot of our Meet the Member Artists page. It's on the LAG website. It's under the For Collectors tab. So if you would like to be included, please send me your name and then 1 link and 1 picture of your art. And the link could be your website, it could be a social media platform that you use, it could be your email address, whatever you want collectors to see about you, that should be the link you send me. And you can just send it to longmontartistguild@gmail.com. I really want to try to get all the current members up there, so it's a new page and we really want to populate it. So send those in if you haven't already. And then I believe the next slide was the TV show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the new page I built. So what we're looking at here is the LAG website. Across the top, you can see the menu, and this is the LAG on TV page found under the More tab. So clicking here takes you to this page. So this is where all the news will come up when things are happening with the TV show. So right now we're premiering in September with the first episode, but we're trying to pre-record all 12 episodes over the summer. So there are a couple of things we need to do to make sure that's in gear. The first thing to do is we need to schedule guests. So right here, I put a nominate a guest button, which takes you to the bottom of this page to the nominate a guest form. So we're giving priority to the member artists of the Longmont Artists Guild. So ideally for each show, I'm going to interview 2 people. So ideally one of those people would be a LAG member artist. The other person would come from any of these other groups in the bullet point list here. So non-member artists in Longmont, leaders, organizers, and public figures in the arts community, Longmont service providers who cater to the artists, and then any other interesting art story attached to a person. So, and here's a couple of examples, but we're looking to begin taping June 2nd. We're hoping to tape 1 episode a week. So we're gonna need some help. I've got 5 spots to fill for volunteers. So this is an awesome way to get your membership hours out of the way for the year. The priority position is the talent manager, and I'll probably end up having more than one person doing this. But this is a matter of reaching out to the guests, getting them scheduled, doing a pre-interview over the phone or on Zoom, just to get them comfortable with the topics that are going to be covered. And so they can give feedback on things that they would like to cover. Each guest will have approximately 12.5 minutes to fill on the 30-minute show. So I'd like to do 4 minutes of an intro, 4 minutes of a topic I choose, and 4 minutes of a topic that the guest chooses. So this talent manager is going to kind of help screen and schedule and get them ready to do the interview throughout the pre-production process. So then we're also looking for a director. So this person is going to be the technical head of what's happening. They operate a machine called the switcher. It just changes from camera angle to camera angle. They're going to be the person who hooks up the mics, who sets up the lighting. All of this is going to be trained. Nobody needs any experience or any equipment for any of these roles. And we're going to have a dry run orientation day with no guests, just to make sure everybody kind of knows where they're supposed to go and how things connect. The floor manager is going to be the people mover on set during taping day. So this is going to be the person who gets the guests to where they need to go when it's their turn, when they call breaks, making sure the set is quiet when we're taping, that kind of thing. And then we need a camera laptop operator. This is a very simple rig. It's not even, I mean, they have major rigs, but what we're using is extremely simplified. So if you can operate a smartphone camera, you can operate this camera. But this is a pretty standby kind of role. We need a person doing it, but you're gonna have a little extra free time. So you may be an extra pair of hands to either help me out or the floor manager or maybe the director, hooking things up. And then the last role is the video editor. So this is a post-production role. You don't need to be there on taping days, and we can reserve times for you to come in and work on the major computer with the professional editing software to work transitions and title cards and make sure the lower thirds are matching up with the people who are speaking and that kind of thing. So, and again, all of that will be taught to you. All you need is an interest. It kind of tells you who it's the best fit for, a little description of what you can expect, what kind of time commitment, what kind of training you might be looking at. It feels intimidating. I promise you it's not. Please don't let that stop you. If you're interested in any audio, video learning at all, this is a great opportunity. So throwing that out there, if you or someone you know would make a great guest or part of the production crew, I want you. Please email me. And I think that's it on this part. So I'm going to turn it back over to Susan. That's okay. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Good. I did one thing right today. So we're going to actually have Sandra Kinchin, we call her Sandy. She's going to introduce our wonderful guest artist today.
You had a beautiful slide of him in your show, but we'll have to save that for later.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Rick is here with us, and you've heard him speak a little bit to the group about some of his interests and the things he's been doing in Boulder. And he's been a film producer and an artist in Boulder for some time, but he just started painting 5 years ago. Is that possible? Because he's won many, many awards. He's now really a wonderful teacher and a wonderful virtual artist, leads artist critiques. And now we are so happy that he's here to work with our group. And I guess now we make him a host of the show. Christina, who does that?
He just takes over and shares his screen.
He just takes over.
He just takes over.
And share your screen with us.
Yeah, and Rick,
I'm in charge. But
You have the
This-
pictures that I
am
sent you?
Am I supposed to show that stuff? Oh my God. Let me look at this. Hold on. Sorry.
It's okay.
This is why you guys do like this is why you guys always do a run through first.
Yeah,
Okay, let me see this.
No,
we'll run throughs. We'll just all take it.
Here we
we're
go.
not
Okay,
that
cool.
sophisticated.
Okay. Okay. Oh, here it is. I think. Okay. So I'm just gonna open this up. Okay. Okay. Now, is this working? I mean, can you guys see or?
I think you need to
Hello?
share your screen, yes?
Yeah. Do you know how to share your screen? Rick, at the bottom of your
Oh yeah,
screen, it says share screen.
And you have the
I got it. Okay.
pictures there. I'm sorry, I thought this was you were old hand at this. There we
And no,
go.
but every time
There
I
we
do
go.
anytime I do anything with a new group, it's always like I'm always like, and also too, the audio on my laptop doesn't work, so I always have to phone it. It's very
I
complicated.
get it.
But
Yeah.
but hi everybody. Now is this good for everybody? You know, is this the full frame that you guys are seeing here?
It looks full
Yep.
on
Okay.
my screen, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Okay. Now is the artist here? It's in the room or
It's Deborah Kokoli.
He's waiting.
okay?
Oh, there she is.
Hello. Hi,
Can you-
Deborah.
Am I
Hi.
muted? Or can you hear me?
There you
Yes. Be like before we start. What I'd like to say first is that the work that I do has a very strong narrative to it, and I'm always looking at like what is the story, okay? And even if it's abstract, there's a story to it. So I like to hear the way I like to do the critique groups. I like to just have the artist just say the size of the piece, the medium, and the title, and then we talk about the work, and the artist learns what we're seeing in it, as opposed to them telling us what it's supposed to mean. You know, I kind of like doing that, and I always learn something that way. So if you guys want to just indulge me on this and just try it, you know, I don't know what you guys normally do. And does everyone just sort of pipe in, or how does that work?
We've never done this before.
Oh,
This is
Yeah.
our first
This
holy
time.
is
cow.
our first
Okay. Oh my God.
official.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Okay, great. Okay. So in other words, let's have Deborah. What's the title of the piece, the medium, and the size of it?
So it's on the screen. So it's 16 inch.
Just tell us. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
It's 16 inch by 20 inches. It's on a canvas. It's acrylic,
Mhm.
and it's called 3 for
Mhm.
Vitality.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll start. Okay. First of all, I think it's amazing. There's a lot of motion in here, and I think painting the water clear kind of puts us in the water with these fish also too. There's no break, there's no surface, and I feel like I'm in the water with these fish, and I love that intimacy. And I love how you have a very strong, these warm yellows and oranges, kind of creating this vortex where my eye is just swirling with a lot of the cool colors underneath that. You know, do you start with a dark canvas? Do you paint the canvas dark first and then work to lighter colors? Deborah.
Well, okay. So what I wrote on the bottom of this was I've been painting many small rocks with the koi, and I was ready to try something larger. So
Well, let me just ask you a question. Just answer the questions that I'm asking you, okay? This is more technical. You know,
okay.
do you start with a dark canvas, or do you work from dark to light, you know?
No.
Or and are you working off of a photograph also?
Well, okay. On this particular canvas, it was just gessoed. And then I did the drawing with charcoal. I
Mhm.
looked at probably 10 different photographs of underwater and koi paintings. And I used one koi from one painting, one rock from another image online. So I looked at lots of different images. And then I just kind of kept moving around the canvas. So I wasn't necessarily thinking about light to dark. Sometimes I might, but not on this one. I just kept kind of moving around the canvas, doing what I
Mhm.
kind of felt needed to be done. That makes any
That's
sense.
great. This reminds me a little bit of the Matisse dancers. I don't know if anybody knows that famous painting, but of the dancers kind of floating in the air, just from the angle of this, you know, and also to the like shape of the rocks, I find even mimic the movements of the fish. Did something just happen?
Yeah, I just got lost. Oh, there
Okay.
you are. I see you. I don't see the painting, but
Hold on. We were there before. Oh,
we were.
geez. We were. Okay. We somehow got bumped. Okay. Here we go again. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm sort of a klutz at this stuff. But like I was saying, I think that the shape of the rocks really mimics the motion of those wonderful fish there. And are you doing the like white highlights last? You know, do you go in there last with the white?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
I do.
Yeah, it's great. What does anybody else think? Anybody else have any comments or?
Can you guys hear me?
Echo, 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 echo.
Well, I love the fish,
Mhm.
and you're right. It does feel like, you know, you see, you know, the water's there, you feel that. I kind of would like to have a little more light on some of the rocks, because we've got light on the fish here and all, and it feels a little flat to me, just a little. And I wonder if a little more highlight might make it pop a little for me. But basically, I think it's really beautiful.
It's interesting because the like lower left corner of this piece has those wonderful, what are those, lotus leaves floating there. And then the upper right corner, in the upper opposite corner, you sort of just have those rocks, you know. I'm just wondering if it just feels a little bit, just a little heavy on that sort of corner down there.
Sure.
You know, and I think that if what was said earlier, like about maybe putting a little highlight into those rocks, maybe up in that corner, maybe we'll sort of tilt the balance just a little bit. I don't think you need to do a lot, but just to sort of balance our eye back up to that
Sure, sure.
corner.
Yeah.
I loved how you have that like wonderful blue, the wonderful blue, just sort of polka dots in this, just sort of kissing all those, you know, it's really wonderful. Like, I love that color, you know, and I think it's a really bold move to kind of use that strong color right there. But it does keep our eye, it creates a like tension in the center with the oranges and the blues, you know, those like complementary colors kind of swirling around each other. You know, and even if that's something you're not cognitively thinking of doing, somehow your talents or your instincts or your years of experience is sort of guiding you. Because sometimes I will grab a color and my brain's going, what the hell are you doing? But it winds up being the right thing, but there's something inside of me making me do something. So it's not always like I thought of everything. There's like a gut reaction to this process, which all of us do.
Yeah, that's what I mostly do. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
you like don't think. You kind of go into that zone and your brain turns off a little bit, which is kind of a nice place to be. And somehow there's something driving it,
Right. I also listen to music to run and do other things, but also to paint. And it's like I'm dancing with my paintbrush, the music.
Wow.
And that's a
great.
lot.
Well, it shows that.
Yeah.
No, I think even earlier with the comment about Matisse's dancers, I mean, like that. I feel that the fish are even dancing.
Hi, I just wanted to comment. I love this piece. I was actually just going to comment. I really like, because there's a feeling of like high, that it's kind of like a high time of day, because there's enough shadow coming from underneath the leaves and from beside the rocks. I almost think, because there was the comment earlier about it looking flat, and I think for me the only spot is the fish on the bottom left, while the other two are meeting a lot of that shade from the river. It's not really getting much on its underside, and I think if it had just a twinge more of that shadow, it would make that whole thing look three-dimensional and entirely.
Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's a good point. Because like if you think of this painting as like three different cells, like the leaves are on top, then the fish are in the middle, and then the rocks are on the bottom. It's like three levels. And that last comment's really good, because I think it would actually separate that fish and make it feel like it is like a 3D thing.
And
So much fun. This is.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
I don't have the you know what I like to do? Sometimes what we do, I don't know if I can do this. Sometimes we like turn them upside down. Yeah. Oh, let me see if I can do this. Oh my God, hold on. Can we see that, everybody? Okay. Now that's interesting, because I'm seeing the water breaking on that rock in the, on the left-hand side. Like it's like half the rock is up out of the water and half's under it.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
it just makes me smile. Like it's so happy. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say something that I liked about it and thought would be fun to just even add more of, are just the little bubbles in it.
Those are a lot of fun. Yeah, I didn't want to get carried away with that. I did like that.
It just caught my eye, and I wanted to let you know.
I'm going to ask you a question that I hate being asked, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Is like approximately like how long did this take? Like how many days, or just like a rough. I'm just always kind of curious as how much time people spend on the painting, and even if you put it aside for a bit and come back to it, just like what you think: 12 hours, 20 hours, 3 hours,
maybe 20.
Wow.
I could be wrong, because I get easily distracted.
Right. Well, you're busy dancing. You're like dancing. Yeah.
And then I have to step back. You're supposed to step back and look at it. And then I step back and go, oh, my laundry, or I don't know, So I'm not focused. I really can't work for more than an hour probably at a time straight without stopping. That would be my max, I think. Then I have to stop and get a snack, whatever, check my email, very important email, I'm sure. then get back to it. So it's always broken up. It's hard to know how long I take.
Well, I think it's interesting because I don't know about other artists here, but I'll be working on a part of the painting and I'm not liking any of it. And then I'll walk the dog and I'll come back and I'm going, oh, that's not so bad. Like, you know, like if I just take like a little break, even because you're in that hyper focused zone where like all you're seeing is just everything that has to get fixed. You know what I'm saying? And to step away from it and come back is probably healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Bravo. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. I actually did stick this one up at the Burlington Medical Center in one of the LAG venues. So I sort of said to myself, it's done. Done. You know, and I might go back to it because it's acrylic and I didn't varnish or anything. So I could tweak it a little bit. But like many of us, I'm sure we tweak it and tweak it and tweak it.
Overwork it. Yeah.
And then enough.
That's true. I always feel like, for me personally, like I get to a point where I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, because like, you know, there is nothing that we can probably do that'll change someone's experience looking at this for the first time. No one's ever going to look at it like as closely, you know, as you are, you know, so it's knowing when to stop is, that's like half the battle. You know?
It is, because I'm sure many of us have gone over that line and ruined stuff. And that's heartbreaking, you know, where you just, what the heck did you just do? And then, you know, that's very bad.
I always have like a portion of the painting, like a small portion of something where I'll spend, like if I do like a 20-hour painting, I'll spend maybe 15 hours in this one part and then the rest of it I just blow out. And it's always interesting. And it happens a lot. The part of the painting, like I hate painting hands. I hate painting hands. And I always do them last. And I just like slap them on. And so many times people say, oh, I love those hands. I'm going, you know, there's a lesson there, you know? So anyway. Cool. All righty. Well, do we move on to our next one? To our next guest? Okay. We seem to have like a water thing going today. Okay.
Oh.
And this is, okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm Maureen. And I don't know why it's echoing.
I don't see Maureen. Where? Oh, there she is.
Can you see me now?
No. I see your little square and iPad Maureen, but
what, can you hear me though?
Well, what's,
yes.
Hi, Maureen, what's the title of the piece, the medium and the size?
This is a collage and it's all made from cutting colors and images out of magazines and just using glue to layer them up. It's called Whistling Swan, and it is a transformation of a John Audubon painting.
Wow.
Wow, that's incredible. I just cannot imagine all the work that would go into doing that. I mean, that's crazy. Do you mean that, like, for example, all those white lines in the water, that's just cut out paper?
That is correct. Even the yellow flowers, every little petal is cut out individually.
Oh my God. Look at that. even the white around the like lily pad, you know, you would have cut that out and then glue that down.
Well, some of the strips are cut out individually, and some of them are layered. So I would take the green, for example, and cut the lines out of the green and then glue the green on top of the gray.
Wow.
I just can't believe this. I am blown away by this. This is freaking me out. It's so insane. Wow, look at this. You know, it's just so, it's so incredible. And how large is this again? Is this,
I'm sorry?
and what's the size of this again?
This is 16 by 20 inches.
Wow.
Hmm. And are you using like an X-Acto blade or scissors? I mean, what's your process?
I use really tiny scissors, and then I use a repositional glue stick, and I glue it onto watercolor paper.
This is so crazy. I'm sorry. It's really amazing. And so, for
Yeah.
example, with the clouds, are you just cutting out different skies from magazines, and then you're kind of doing like a thing up there? Hello?
Yeah, we lost her.
I think we
Oh,
lost audio.
I'm
I
sorry.
think we lost audio. Yeah.
Yeah, here
You're
I
muted.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sky is layered, and I just find sky pictures in magazines, and then I just cut out shapes that sort of look like clouds.
Hmm.
Wow.
It really does feel like an Audubon painting. I mean, like it has the like same profile, you know, like it really does have that vibe to it, but you've taken it to a whole nother level. I'd love to see this live. You know, I'd like to see this in person. I mean, just to see all the work. I mean,
Well,
I'm just,
I'm hanging it actually in a North Boulder coffee shop tomorrow night.
what coffee shop?
It's called Logan's Espresso Cafe in North Broadway. It's in the same parking lot as Lucky's Market.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. How did you? Now, is this a technique you were taught, or is this kind of like you know, this is like your own sort of creation? Because this feels really fresh to me, what you're doing here.
Yeah,
you know, I'm more of a traditionalist with oil pastels. I mean, this is beyond my even comprehension, you know, of all the work that would go into this. It is.
Yeah, I've never had any formal training, and I just retired 3 years ago, and I started doing collaging, you know, just for mental therapy. I used to do traditional quilting, and I think that's why the piecing of the pieces of paper, it kind of comes natural to me. And I've just
Yeah.
discovered that I have a knack for, I'm good at scissoring.
Obviously.
You are. You're very good at scissoring.
I have a question.
I mean,
The water, is it like, you know, just the little shades of water? Are those sheets of very thin paper, or?
No, it's colors from a magazine, and I would cut little strips out, little wavy strips out, and then again layer them up, and then also cut out little thin strips, and lay that on top. So it's both cutting things out and gluing things on top.
but even how you did the translucent water,
Right.
to me, where you can still see the what's that, a like platypus? No, it's a swan. No. But I mean, you can still see it. It's just so. I mean, it's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, I have ideas, and this is a transformation of a John Audubon that I wanted to do. So I'm looking at his painting, and I stare at that for a long time, thinking I have no idea how I'm going to do that. And then I just get started, and somehow it works out.
Do you do a drawing first?
for the Audubon transformations that I've done, I get the poster of the painting and I trace the outline with tracing paper. And then I make a template from that and put it on top of the watercolor paper and then trace it out again. So I do use the outline.
I mean, I'm really digging the way that even those leaves floating in the water are even at that great angle. The perspective of this, it's weird because like not only is it flat, but it has perspective, if that makes any sense. You like somehow found that amazing ability to kind of give us both of that. You know, in the foreground has a good perspective, and then there's this flatness that I love.
Remarkable.
Well, thank you.
The swan is staring at me. Staring at me. I love that. Wow, really, really insane.
Well, and I use a lot of fashion magazines and travel magazines. So the dark gray is from a cobblestone street, and the sort of plaid on the feet are from a tweed coat from a fashion magazine.
Oh my gosh.
I know you I'm glad we all have OCD and we can channel it, because this is so, it's so creative to kind of be able to see that, you know, to be able to see a coat and say, oh, that'll look good as the webbing between the swan's feet next to the, you know, I mean, just, but I'm assuming that like you have like a lot of things going on your work table, like you're sort of like moving stuff around, right? You know, a lot of piles of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, collage is very, very messy. And I just leave the mess until I'm done with one piece, clean it all up, and then start all over again. It takes a lot of space.
I'm sure, and you probably have a lot of things you think, oh, I'll use this one day. So you have a lot of inventory. You know, it's like, oh, I'll save this magazine because who knows, right? You know.
Oh my gosh. I probably have 1,000 magazines, and I even rip out like colors, and I have a folder for animals and a folder for architectural designs, you know, gardening magazines. And I got a lot of stuff for sure.
I never made a collage until the beginning of the lockdown, like last April and May, when we were all really stuck on our houses and sterilizing all of our groceries and freaking out. And I made a collage, like a very large one, with homeless signs that I bought from the homeless people in Boulder. And I never made a collage, but it was interesting because normally what I do, it's so planned out in advance because I'm a like photorealist painter, super planned out. The collage was telling me what it wanted to do. It was very interesting to kind of like allow that to happen. It was almost like a Ouija board, with sort of like, you know, and it was sort of making itself in a weird way, if that makes any sense to anybody. But it was like the opposite of what I normally do. And I like that feeling, because you're discovering things as you're working on it. You're going through magazines and seeing things. It's incredible.
Yeah, and sometimes a collage will just take on a life of its own. It's very serendipitous, and you might have a plan, but it doesn't come out like your plan at all. It just kind of depends on what you find in the magazines. But the Audubon transformations that I do, those are very planned in terms of, you know, it's going to be a copy of Audubon's painting.
Right. But even though just even flipping through and just finding textures and patterns, even that would even work, I think you have to be open-minded to even find that stuff, you know, to apply to this. Anyway.
Just a matter of process. It's 6:20 and we need to probably get to a couple of.
Okay.
Okay,
sorry,
thank
like
you.
I could just talk about everyone's work for like hours, you know, like I just, you know, okay. I'll talk less. Okay. Here we go. Name withheld.
Hi, this is mine. My name's Kirsten. I probably didn't fill out the internet form correctly, but
Okay, and what is the title of your piece and the medium and the size?
it's called Spiritual Hope, and it's oil on canvas, and it's 24 by 30.
Wow.
Wow, okay.
And I was just really enjoying kind of like having fun blending the colors together, and it kind of just had this inspirational quality to me. So that's kind of the reason for the name and such.
Well, I think it's interesting to me because like, it's almost like, it's chaotic, but it's orderly. It's both at the same time. It's almost like it's bricks, but there's just, and when I say chaos, like I mean that as a compliment. You know, I just think that there's, there's a tightness and a looseness at the same time that's in here, and I love that. You know, it almost feels like it's a landscape to me with this sort of dark lineup here when you can see the entire piece. I wish I could full frame this to see the whole thing.
It's just a little bit nervous.
Can you guys see this?
Are you done?
I think I could leave now.
This is vertical.
He said he was blown away and he wants to see it in
Oh,
person.
she should mute her.
Yeah.
Mute her,
It's true. It's true. I want to see it live. And then let me ask you a question too, like about the actual process. So this is oil paint. Are you building layer on top of layer of color, or how are you doing this? And do you put it aside at a certain point and let it set and come back to it? You know, sometimes with like oil paint.
I painted it like in 3 different sessions of about 3 hours or so. And I would, okay, I started off like with, like you are right about it having kind of like a structure, because in the top left-hand corner or the top row, I started out with these like boxes. But then after that, kind of where that like gray stripe is, I just started like really enjoying like so I'd paint like a section at a time and just kind of like mix a lot of different colors together and kind of enjoy like all of the, because I always have this sense that there are certain colors that don't go together, but like I was realizing like that's really not true. Like everything on here was like kind of what I wouldn't have picked them to go together, and they look amazing together. So anyway, that was kind of how
I agree. No, and it's interesting because by you even saying that, it almost seems to me like these rectangles here are like buildings, and then this whole foreground is a reflection in the water or something. It has that looseness to it, but every color on this whole canvas is what I would say is a happy color. You know, yeah, it's just wonderful. It has like a Matisse palette to it, you know, that sort of pastel-y. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I
love
always
going
pick
in.
those
Sorry,
big bright
you know, I
colors
love going
like
in,
that.
going. Okay, no, this is gorgeous. Look at that, everybody.
Oh, that's,
right?
Is there a lot of texture to it, or is it very smooth?
It has a lot of texture to it, especially at the top. I did some glazing over the squares just to try to make them a little less kind of like chunky and kind of blend with the rest of the painting a little bit. So,
but I think that the strength of the painting, honestly, the strength of painting to like me is the fact that it doesn't do that. You know, in a weird way, it's almost like it creates this these areas and these sections that are tied together in such a creative way, because you're tying them together with these happy colors.
That's
like
cool.
I just want to turn it sideways. Let me do this.
Wow.
It's almost like when it's this way, it almost looks like it's people walking at us, you know, like it's a girl in the center with shorts on, you know,
Yeah.
all these things. You could put it on a spinner, okay, and just spin it, you know, it's so great. It's so much fun. It is.
Thank you.
How do you know when you're finished with these pieces? You know, like I can see with the swan earlier that you like had enough of cutting out stuff and it looks good. But this, I mean, how do you know when you're finished?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It's almost
I-
within.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm struggling to answer that. I guess it just, I have this intuitive sense that like everything's kind of jiving well together. I don't have a good answer like for you that, so.
When
I think it's finished. But yeah, go on.
okay, do you have any questions about that? Is there any area of this painting that troubled you? Or do you feel like it's really there, it's finished?
Okay.
I mean, I think it's interesting what you said about having the, okay, so this is a really, I'm a pretty new artist, and this was the biggest size canvas I ever painted on. So like when I first started, I was really like kind of anxious about it. So like I started that top row as just blocks, and I said to myself, like, I'll get back to like what I'm gonna do with these, but I just kind of got to get started painting, you know? And so like, by then I just like kind of got into the zone, I guess, for the moving down the painting. And so then at that point I was like, okay, what do I do with the top? And so I guess my question would be like, how do you know when you're like in the zone and when maybe you're overthinking things too much, or whatever the case may be?
I mean, I think that's all of us. You know, like I think all of us, you know, would benefit from thinking less. Okay, like I think a lot of us overthink our work. You know, and I think that's just something which an artist does. You know, and the fact you feel that to me means that you're onto something. You know, the other thing I would say to you is to maybe do another canvas or two and put this aside for like a month or so, and then look at it fresh again, you know, because I think that like that's a great way to see. But I mean, I think it's hard to ask somebody else, but to me, I mean, this one feels like it's, you know, to me, like it feels like it has a really great narrative, really great composition, a lot of energy. And I'd like to see this one live too, because I think the scale of it, the fact that it's 30 inches tall and it's vertical is a hard way to work. At least it is for like me, you know, it's a hard thing to handle, but I think it's pretty great.
That's so cool. Thank you so much. I'm a pretty new artist, like I was saying, so this is my first time sharing my art with others. So
Yeah.
Really? Well, bravo. Like I'm saying, you know, something, do it. Keep up with it. I mean, I didn't start painting until about 5 or 6 years ago, you know, and, you know, I'm so happy that I'm doing it now. All right, let's go this one. Lacey Jones. Okay. Oh my God, this, okay. Lacey, are you here?
Lacey here?
Maybe not.
Lacey.
No.
We may have to move on then if she's not here.
But this has a lot going on. Look, it's hand-tinted silk screen collage and encaustic on cradled birch panel. It's like one of those fancy restaurants where you get the little dish, you know, it's really beautiful. there's a lot of the thing about your group, which is kind of cool. You all do your own kind of crazy thing. You know, it's kind of really, there's a lot of originality here, you know? Okay, Jill?
Jill's here.
Or are people afraid that I'm going to say something bad? Jill.
Jill's here.
Oh, she's muted.
Hi, Jill.
Oh, Jill, you're muted. There you go. No, there you go. No?
Well, I'll do it for her. This is Jill Musser. It's called Overlapping Ideas, oil on canvas. It's 40 inches by 30 inches. Okay.
That's a big one too.
Yeah.
It is. There's so much movement in this. Like, once again, the narrative, the story that I'm getting from this is that there's just a lot of things moving. There's a lot of energy, and really bold how you have these like really like tight little spots of like warm oranges with this kind of like really great vibrant bluish and pinkish. And once again, this is a very happy palette that you're using. Wow.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now, Jill, are you on mic yet?
No.
I don't hear.
Because I'm always curious when I see a work like this, like how much of it is sort of pre-planned? Like, are you sitting down with a certain palette in mind, and then this is what you wind up looking at 6 hours later without realizing what you painted? Or are you really sort of trying to, is it like a plan? This is what I want to do, thing.
No.
Well, I think Jill's here. We can't hear her.
Yeah, her audio is off for some reason.
Well, then let's just talk. Well, then let's just talk about her, okay? Jill. and tell me a story about Jill. No, but if anybody else wants to maybe talk about it, or the thing about this to me, which is kind of cool, even with the color choices, there's a lot of complementary colors like next to each other that are sort of like calling our eye to it and making a sense with this pink and green here, really, really strong pinks and greens. And then you have this like really dynamic orange against this really great blue. And even with the red and green down here, there's a lot of tension with the color choices, which I think keeps us moving. In addition to those, looks like those white, just sort of brush strokes, even like a dry brush stroke up in the corner here, like a dry brush stroke up in here, you can see that. But there's a lot of layering here, I can tell. The more you look at this, the more I can see in it, At first I thought it was a dog, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like a schnauzer or something, but I'm, with umbrellas.
Rick.
It's almost like an ink block test, when you see something like this.
Turn it upside
It's
down.
pretty. I mean, look.
I was going to say, turn it
Okay. Here sideways. Oh, look, it's a bird. It's a bird. Oh, look. Hold on, let me move this. That's interesting.
I like it, yeah.
It's so
Nice
much fun. It has
Yeah.
so much depth. Like I wonder if there's layers and layers and layers of just paint with like color coming through. And then here's the last way. It really is dynamic.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
composition.
Yeah, it's weird. It almost works every single, it works every single way, which means that it's well composed. I sometimes turn light upside down and I'll see things that I didn't see I find it to be really helpful when I'm working on a canvas.
Right.
Pretty cool. Okay, oops, we're still going this way. Jill, we're sorry that we couldn't hear you. Now, let me ask you guys a question. So how large is the Artist Guild up there? How many members do you have, Ish?
Just over 100.
About 100 now.
112.
100, actually 112.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm doing an arts festival at the Avalon Ballroom in Boulder.
Right.
On second Saturdays. It's funny because Nobo is going to start doing a second Saturdays, and I'm going to do a second Saturdays. So, but mine is, you know, I can send you like a link to it, and maybe you can send it to your members. But it's free to apply. There's 60 artists. We have music there. We have dancers there, and it's free to the public. And we're going to do it every month in the Avalon Ballroom. There's this old ballroom in Boulder on the outskirts that has this overhang over a very large parking lot. So it's an ideal place for a fair, because we're all in shade and we're outside, you know, so it's kind of cool because that sun gets to be pretty strong. But I'd love to invite the members of your group to apply, you know, and participate.
We can put that in our newsletter. What's the date again, Rick?
It's June 12th.
June 12th.
It's
Okay.
June 12th, and it's from noon until 4. We did it in September. It was a drive-through where we had cars. You could stay in your car, and we had like 450 cars, and every artist sold something that day because of the traffic jam. So people were forced to look at the art. We didn't know what we were going to get. There was a huge traffic jam. Like it took about an hour to go through the entire thing. And we had the Philharmonic was there playing. We had belly dancers, and we had like a break dance school. So there was something for everybody, and all different levels of artists. And it was really a lot of fun. But it's kind of what we need to create here because Longmont and Boulder, there's so few opportunities. There's so many artists here in our area, and there's so few places to really show your work, you know, in these towns here, you know, and it's not like we don't have development. It's not like we don't have people moving here. It's not like we don't have empty walls.
Hey, Rick, will you be on our show?
Yes.
Good idea.
On your show? Of course I will.
Will you be a guest on our show?
Of course. You know, I always say yes, which is a bad habit. Yes, of course I will. But I want to, but I honestly feel the one thing that I do with the city of Boulder is I've gone to the city and I've gone to the Arts Council there and I said, this is never going to work here unless we get all these groups to work together, you know, number one, because all these groups are kind of fragmented, especially down in Boulder, but also too, it has to happen from the bottom up. And this is how it starts here, just with us talking about like each other's work. It really is a bonding, great experience, you know, I think. And an art scene gets created from the bottom up, I feel. And there has to be more, you know, and I'm just trying to create as many opportunities as like possible for all of us to showcase and to sell our work here. You know, I got the Museum of Boulder, which is a history museum. Not as great as the one up in Longmont, because you guys have a Class A art museum and history place up there. But I convinced them to start showing art there and become more of a cultural center, just like you guys do up there. And now they're letting artists show work there, and they're getting traffic. There's only so many times you can look at the mining tools, you know, I told them. So you kind of want artists in there also too, and it's actually worked out well. And they're doing an artist of the day once a week in their lobby. So it's free and they don't take a commission, and they let in artists kind of set up in their lobby for the day and to show the work. So it's like little things like that, trying to create these like little avenues for us to get our work seen, you know, especially for those of us who like want to sell. You know, it's not everyone's goal, but I want to sell my work, you know, and I want to, you know, and I think that there's so much great talent around our area that there's no reason why we can't become more of a destination for it. I just think that we have to think beyond galleries, you know, in a weird way, you know, and I like what you guys are doing at the fair. Like I think that that's smart to like be at that fair, you know.
We really appreciate your participation with us, and it's really great to hear your enthusiasm and encourage us all to get out there and work at showing our art, because that's what we want. And we probably are about out of time, but does anybody have anything they'd like to ask Rick? Or I know you're going to teach a class soon in figure drawing.
Yes. It is. We started a life drawing class with a nude model. So, and we're going to have it up at Chautauqua in one of their big cabins up there. There'll be a beautiful setting, and it's only $15. I always believe, honestly, I hear this a lot in Boulder, where I hear them say, "Oh, it's Boulder, they can afford more," and that's not the case. Like, not everyone's rich around here, you know. So I always try to keep the cost way down. Like for the Avalon Art Fair that I'm doing, it's $25 for a booth. I mean, that's unheard of, you know. It's just, you know, and like we don't take a commission, and it's just basically just to cover the cost of the rental of the place. But we're going to start doing like a monthly life drawing class with a professor from CU. And anybody that's interested in that, there's only 14 spots, and we're almost full. We can share that also. Hello? Yes.
Thank you so much again. And I think we all feel kind of invigorated and want to get out there and do some more painting. And for all the participants who have submitted their pieces, they're just remarkable, all of them. And we really
they are, yeah.
Been a wonderful.
And I challenge you guys. I challenge everyone who like didn't show their work today. When we come back in September, I challenge you to show your work, okay? Because you know, it's like writing a novel that like no one's read. You know, it's kind of good to get eyes on it.
That's
Yep.
Amen.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you, guys. This was so much fun.
You're
Really
awesome.
great work.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone.
See you all in September.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes.
Good job, you guys.
Yeah.
Be good to see everybody who was here today.
Really nice.
How was I?
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in September.
Thank you, Susan. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
See
Take
you later.
care. Stay well.